This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world, according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie! What's on your mind?
I am fucking disgusting right now. Full disclosure, after this podcast, I'm going to take my second shower of today because it is balls hot.
Yeah, dude.
And I have my annual post-Labor Day chest cold. I get every year on top of whatever this fucking herpy thing I get on my lip every year, which usually is on my cheek every year. But yeah, I feel clogged up and nothing like being stuffy and warm, you know.
Yeah, dude. I feel like it would be easier to have one or the other. But
yeah,
all three of the kids, well, the oldest three of the kids started school, I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And I'm also experiencing that, like, first week of school, whatever the fuck. So it's like all stuffed up here, but I'm still dealing with like the echo of COVID. So my ears are all clogged. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow morning, is going to visit my doctor to figure out because I know my ear infection's coming, right? Like I can set my watch to it. Every season change, I get an ear infection. So,
and what I'm about to say isn't indicative of your kids. I'm not taking a shot, but like kids are the biggest fucking germ farms.
Dude, you could absolutely say that about my kids too. They are disgusting. They are ruthless barbarians. They never wash their hands. They come home with all types of disease. Typhoid Mary, fucking insane. I get the most insane shit they bring home, man.
There's the name of the show, Typhoid Mary.
Writing it down before I forget.
Or Typhoid Meanie, fuck it, you know.
I love it.
Did you hear my...
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard you a little wheezy there, yeah. Because now now you say something.
Moving on up like George and Wheezy. Get jiggy with it.
I love it, dude. What a record that was. That was, what was that, 97 or 98? I think.
I don't know. No, that had to be 97. Well, that had to be 97. You know why? Al Snow was working an angle, I think, with Shane Douglas. And he had to give the snowplow to Francine.
Oh.
And like Francine and Al would always, sing "Get Jiggy with It" in the locker room. So he was working the deal with Shane Douglas, and he had to get the snowplow to Francine. And Francine said every time he grabbed her to put her in the, cinch her up for the snowplow, he would go, George and Wheezy, moving up like George and Wheezy. And with a snowplow. So.
It's hilarious.
So every time I hear that song, I think of Al Snow giving Francine the snowplow.
I meant to tell you this. I was at the parking lot at the Giant over here in Thorndale the other day, and I was just getting some coffee and some stuff for Courtney in the morning. And someone was listening to DJ Cool, "Let Me Clear My Throat," and it was loud through her windows, and I was hitting the move in the driver's seat, man, before I pulled away. So I was thinking about you the other morning.
Dude, where are you at? What city are you in?
I'm in downtown.
Yeah, I thought of you. We were driving out to STARRCAST. So we did the no tolls option.
Yeah.
So like we took 76. We got off at like 302 to whatever, 30 or whatever.
Yeah, 30.
And we're driving, and I saw the exit for Downingtown. I was like,
Oh, no
I was
shit.
like, what's up?
Next time, stop through, man. Kids, we want to have you over.
Yeah,
well, if you were, next
we're
time.
on a time limit there. And then it added like an hour to the trip, but it was worth it because like we when you type in the thing into Google, it tells you how much tolls are.
Yeah,
it's like $70 one way and fucking tolls. So I was like, you know what? I'll take the extra hour.
Yeah.
In some ways, it was the shortest distance too, but it was like no tolls, which is kind of weird.
And you guys were in where? Where were you in Chicago?
Yeah, right outside in Schaumburg.
Yeah, so you would have come down. Yeah, that makes sense. You would have come down through my area and then like almost through Maryland and up like almost like a big U, right?
We did through Lower Pennsylvania,
Yep.
and then we shot up. I forgot what the road was, but we ended up going like horizontal up northwest through Penn State.
Yeah.
And then we went all up to 80 and crossed on to 80, shot down on like 71 or 77, and then met up at Route 30, and we took Route 30 all the way through Ohio and Indiana.
Wow.
Which was pretty cool. I didn't know, because I'm used to Route 30 in Jersey.
Yeah.
Like where there's lights everywhere, traffic lights, brake light special, but you're on Route 30 through Ohio and Indiana, and you're doing like 70, and it's like a highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And it was weird, like halfway through Ohio, there was like a sign for Lima. I was like, oh, I wish I could just pull over, but it was late anyway. If Kewpie was, the Kewpie would have been closed by then. That's my favorite burger, so. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. I'm trying to map out with if I go to Survivor Series, because also too we have a lot of wrestling stuff to talk about here. Two major events that are on the radar today, this past week. But if I'm able to go to Survivor Series' media this year, representing Butts Carlton Media, by the way, Butts Carlton proprietor. I hope I get into the media scrum, because that's literally what I'm going to say. Hi, Adam Barnard, Butts Carlton Media. Like, just imagine Heyman. Excuse me. No, it's
Sir.
What exactly is a Butts Carlton? No. So David and I, my brother David, he's going to come with me to help me out with some setup and cameras and stuff.
Nice.
But that's what I'm trying to figure out is like, so we have to leave if we're going to drive, because there's no fucking way I'm flying. Like we talked about 2 weeks ago. There's no way I'm flying through Thanksgiving, but I've been looking up different routes and I've been trying to find my way into Lima so I can stop at Kewpie's. But if it's Thanksgiving Day, what we're driving, it might be closed. So we're trying to figure it all out.
If you leave early enough, I don't know if you're leaving right after the show or the next morning. Next morning day after Thanksgiving, they might be open. Yeah. So if you do that route I took, where you take Route 30 through Ohio, there's signs right for Lima, right at 30. I think it's 309 or something like that.
That might be a bad
Takes
idea.
your way through downtown Lima, and then you can just hop back on and get on Route 30, take 30 through Ohio, Indiana, and Ohio. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Now, I guess since we kind of alluded to it, there's a very important wrestling question that I need to ask you here, Blue. At the top of the program, big news all over, everywhere. I've seen it on Twitter. Did you get a chance to meet Dennis Rodman at STARRCAST?
I did not.
Damn. Oh, God.
But there's a lot of people. I wanted to see Jerry Lynn, and he had a limited window, because the pay-per-view was in Chicago, but we were in Schaumburg, which was like, you would think it's local, but it's like an hour drive, one way.
Yeah.
So they had a shuttle bus bringing the AEW talent over, and he had a certain window to come over, and I totally missed him on Sunday. So there's a lot of people I wanted to see and, hang out with, but it was not in the cards, which sucks, but, didn't know I was in the exact same building as some of these people, and I couldn't meet him. But I heard Rodman was a little busy. He had a pretty good line. I
saw some of the photos from the event. I was like, holy shit. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, it's Dennis Rodman, So,
shout out to Conrad. Shout out to UPW Video Game for having me there. The UPW Ultra Pro Wrestling Video Game folks were kind enough to think I was worthy of representing the game at STARRCAST. Shout out to Hal Haney, friend of the show. We got to hang out. Him and his Mrs. Haney and Mrs. Meanie became quick friends and had a great time. It's funny. It's like, the one night we're like, we'll get in, we'll go to bed, wake up to the fucking day one tomorrow, and then we'll hang out and go to the bar and all that stuff. And like after day one, we went back. We went to go. I went to go get something to eat with Casio Kid, and I was like, yeah, we'll go back, and then we'll go to the room for a little bit, and then we'll go down to the bar. And we went back to the room, and it was just like, and conked the fuck out, and then I was like, which really helped because the drive home was fucking brutal. Initially I said to Hal, I was like, hey, I might skip out on Sunday. I might just do Friday, Saturday, and leave early Sunday. But once I got down there, I was like, you know what? They brought me out here. Let me just do the convention Sunday. And we also had a friend, my friend Julian Bradley, Senator Julian Bradley, who used to wrestle as Chris Crude, came to visit. And he's like, hey, let's go have that lunch afterwards. So we did the convention, packed up the car, went to the burger joint next door, and had a really good lunch. So we didn't leave Chicago. We didn't leave Schaumburg till like 5 p.m., 4 p.m. their time, 5 p.m. here. I powered through it, drove all night, got home like 8 a.m.
Wow.
Took a little power nap and then, got up and did the things I normally have to do every day. So,
wow.
But then I promptly got sick, because I was just so worn down. I was driving. I made sure the air AC vent was blasting in my face, to keep me awake.
Yeah.
I mean, the trip was totally worth it. And again, thank you to Conrad. Thank you to the STARRCAST staff. Thank you to Ultra Pro Wrestling, and thank you to Hal Haney. Who they all made this possible, this trip possible, and worth it.
It looked like an amazing time. I'm jealous I didn't get to be there. I'm hoping next year I'll be able to make the trip to STARRCAST. I've been meaning to go to this. It looks like a lot of fun. So I'm planning out the next year. But someone else, I guess, who may be planning out the next year, or maybe to Chicago and Survivor Series, who knows? We're going to just rip the Band-Aid right off, Meanie. Your friend and mine, CM Punk, was fired with cause from AEW. Last week. It's been all over the news. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it, and they've repeated Tony Khan's statements, top to bottom over the past couple, days, probably week now at this point. So you can go find that somewhere else. But I want to get your thoughts on, I guess, first, because we haven't really talked since All In happened. So I want to get your thoughts on the Jack Perry incident, and then get your thoughts on the CM Punk release.
So we're starting out at the Wembley event, right?
Yeah, All In.
So I guess apparently there was a issue on Collision where Jack Perry wanted to use a real bottle with real glass in an angle to further a storyline. I believe what was it, with Hook, maybe?
I believe it was with Hook, if I recall correctly. Someone in the chat group can fact check us, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, and AEW staff was like, we don't want you to use real glass. There's no need for it, And, the AEW staff asked Punk as, a veteran, hey, can you talk to him? He's like, yeah, man. And Punk said to Jack Perry, hey, well, we don't do this on the show, essentially, Collision was his show. They made it, because they wanted CM Punk on the network. So, with everything else that was going on, and he couldn't do the other shows, just to kind of keep peace. But, and then go flash forward to Wembley, and Jack Perry, taps on the windshield of a limo. He drove in, for those who didn't see, he arrived in a limo. Him and Hook had this semi-street fight match. And he tapped on the wind. He was about to put, or he was about to put Hook through the windshield. Tapped on it and looked right in the camera and said, look, real glass, cry me a river. I'm paraphrasing. He definitely said, cry me a river. Mm-hmm. Which to me is a direct throwing down the Punk card no pun intended, at CM Punk. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway, and you can't tell me what to do, kind of thing. Which, in and of itself, is you're basically calling the guy out on TV. But not only is it a bad idea from the standpoint, not only is it bad from the standpoint of you're making an issue worse to the casual fans watching the event who don't read the dirt sheets, who don't follow the inside stuff. They just want to watch pro wrestling to watch pro wrestling. They're probably like, what the fuck's that all about? What's he talking about? Cry me a rat. Why is he talking about real glass? If you're a casual fan watching, you're confused. And that's the one thing you don't want to do to your audience. You don't want to confuse your audience, as subtle as it was. So, they get back to the locker room, and rightfully Punk says, do we have a problem? Because he referenced Punk directly into the camera. Now, if he had just done the spot and went on and not said, real glass, none of this would have happened. Mm-hmm. See, the whole problem is, since Punk's been there, Punk came in with AEW, he got the loudest pop, he got the loudest reaction. I don't know if some people took that to heart. I'm not there. I'm saying this as an outsider.
Right.
This is how I'm reading it as a person with experience, but I'm on the outside. So Punk came in with a lot of ballyhoo and pomp and circumstance, and got over and got one of the biggest reactions. And, there was this, whisper campaign that, he was, getting Colt Cabana fired, which I don't know if it's true, but it was out there. And, I've said that I won't rehash the whole theory of the first brawl out. Mm-hmm. There's a whisper campaign that he's trying to get Colt Cabana fired. They did him no favors by having him go into the scrum right after his match. He's injured. He's high on adrenaline, and he's facing the room of the folks who are spreading that news that he's trying to get Colt Cabana fired.
With the first person in the front of the room is Nick Hausman. Not accusing Nick of doing anything improper, but the fact that they have history, it was a comedy of errors.
Yeah, they anything. Have Punk go in his room, cool down, have his muffins, have his drink, and then come out and have a shower, and then come back out. And then he comes down and he's hot. He's not on adrenaline. Does amazing things, So he's probably all juiced up on adrenaline. So they had the whole brawl out things where they barged into his dressing room. Where the dog is, where Ace Steel is, where Ace Steel's, girlfriend is, or injured girlfriend at the time. So that issue happens. So Punk gets suspended, which conveniently he was injured, so he was going to be out anyway.
Yeah.
Comes back. They do the new show, and this issue with Jack Perry happens. We don't want to use real glass. There's no need to use real glass.
Right.
So he, everything just happened. He comes back into the gorilla position. Jack Perry comes. And again, not doing CM Punk any favors, to have these two guys back-to-back matches. Jack Perry on the pre-show, the main event of the pre-show, and then Punk's the first match on the pay-per-view. Their paths are going to cross.
Right. Why
schedule it like that? And then he does the Crimea River line, so he's coming through the gorilla.
Yeah.
So the things happened. Punk, rightfully said, hey, do we have a problem? And they have a tussle in the locker room. So, which I from all accounts I've heard and read, it lasted 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, they have an investigation. with a, what was it?
The discipline committee.
That we've never heard of before.
First time. First time.
Yeah. The newly conceived discipline committee. And, Tony Khan goes on TV before, was it the pay-per-view?
He goes on before Collision.
He goes on before Collision that Saturday night, the night before the second pay-per-view, announcing that CM Punk was fired with cause, which to me is language of we're expecting a lawsuit in this matter.
Yes.
So, here's the thing. Apparently there's security camera footage of what happened between Punk and Jack Perry, which I'm sure, if I'm Punk's lawyers, I'm getting that. I'm sure there's text. I'm sure there's emails. And I'm sure the reason, look, I like Tony Khan. I love Tony Khan. I love AEW. I love everybody involved. Over the weekend, it was awesome to see Cole Cabana. I got to spend some quality time with Cole Cabana. And that's why I put that post out that, a lot of the wrestling industry, myself included, owe Cole Cabana a debt of gratitude. There's a reason why a lot of pro wrestlers have podcasts now. Mm-hmm. Podcasts were like a new thing when he started. It was mainly in the comedy world. And he was a fan of comedy podcasts and brought it over to the world of professional wrestling. And through his podcast, he was, he's the reason why, Pro Wrestling Tees is a thing. And through Pro Wrestling Tees, a lot of people made a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And that, hence, probably funded the first All-In pay-per-view when it was the Bucks and Cody.
Yeah.
All because, Colt needed to get a T-shirt done in a timely manner for CM Punk to wear on Monday Night Raw or whatever. That's CM Punk. I mean, that's Cole Cabana. So there might not be an AEW without Cole Cabana. So there's that debt of gratitude. I love Cole Cabana, but I told him, without going into I was like, man, that whole thing between fucking breaks my heart. So I'm expecting probably a little bit of a retort. I'm sure the saying he's fired with cause is probably on it. Is alluding to that they're expecting Punk to lawyer up and come at him with a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. I don't know Jack Perry. I've never met Jack. I can't say I've never met. I'm sure I've been in the room with him. I'm sure we might have shaken hands, but this all could have been avoided.
Yeah.
This all could have been avoided if people could just be professionals, and just listen to the veterans, take advice, and just go out there and work and just be a professional, Is Punk known to have a temper? Sure. Is he known to be a little bit of a grumpy pants? Sure. First time I met him was in Pittsburgh and met him. Walked into the locker room and he was unpacking his bag. He looked like he did not enjoy his flight into the Pittsburgh area from Chicago. And like he was miserable in a way that kind of popped me. I was like, this is great. But I like Punk. I love Punk. I love Cabana. I love Ace. When I ran my first show, they, used them on my shows, on the 3PW shows. So the fact that this whole thing has happened is very fucking unfortunate. Shit, I've had my issues. Mm-hmm. I've been in locker rooms where people have had issues. We've all seen the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels saga, and they were able to get along together. Stuff like that, Shawn did his comments, directed at Bret, and Bret, approached him in the locker room and they, ripped his hair out. But hey, somehow they magically were still able to go in the ring and have matches and do an angle, got screwed in the end ultimately, but
Right.
they were able to go into a ring and do business, which this is a business. And yes, there's a lot of things you can't do anymore that you used to be able to do. You can't like grip somebody up in a locker room anymore.
Right.
Not that you should, but like
it's looked down on now. Yeah, it's not it's not in fashion.
yeah, there's
right.
there's a HR and all that stuff now. You can't do that shit. But you can have words, and stuff like that, or it's just all unfortunate, and we'll see where it goes. I'm blanking on the name, but dude from Sports Illustrated.
Is it Justin Barrasso?
Justin Barrasso, yeah. Has alluded to that there's going to be big news coming out of the punk camp. I have to look up the direct quote, but somebody said that he's said there's going to be a huge to-do coming out of the punk camp soon. We'll see what that is. I'm sure it's going to be a lawsuit, but I'm interested to see where the legalities of his termination are, because if he's free and cleared to go wherever, Survivor Series is in Chicago,
dude. I know,
and that show opens with Colt. If I'm Triple H, that show opens with Cult of Personality.
Yes.
Punk comes to the ring. He goes, "Hey, Chicago, sorry I'm a little late. I was in the back doing deep knee lunges." There's a rumor that he launched at Tony Khan. I don't know if it's true or not.
That's what I've heard too. Yeah, but
then somebody posted a photo of him. There's a photo from Wembley, from Wembley, where well after the issue with Jack Perry, and it's Punk, Samoa Joe, the referee, and one other person. They're all smiles.
Yeah.
He didn't look like a guy who was very angry or very upset. So who knows? Eventually, hopefully, the true story comes out. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
All we are spectators in the world, But I could just speak from a guy who's been in the locker room. I've been around people who've had their issues. I've been around incidents where shoots happened. I've been involved in the shoot. And, at the end of the day, we're all still able to just do business. Mm-hmm. Luckily, my issue was resolved, and I became friends with JBL, because as time went by, we went to our room and aired it all out. Mm-hmm. And we're friends to this day. So, and there's also the rumor that, there's a sit-down meeting scheduled between Punk and the Elite.
Yeah, I saw that.
He flew from Chicago to Atlanta, lands in Atlanta, finds out that the meeting's canceled. So he flew to Atlanta for no reason, gets to London, his travel. He was told, "Hey, so-and-so's picking you up. Here's the number." Gets there, so-and-so's not there. Messages the number bounces back. Punk's a big boy. He took the tube.
Yeah.
As that's what we did back in the day. We got ourselves to the building, but AEW said they were going to get him there. The guy wasn't there, so he figured, okay, the guy, I'm having issues with this guy. They schedule a meeting, they cancel the meeting, they promised me trans from the airport to the hotel. That backfires. I get to the building. Guy calls me out basically on camera saying, "This is real glass. Cry me a river." So it's just like a whole bunch of poking the fucking bear, and then being surprised when the bear acts like a bear.
I didn't think the bear was going to eat my face as the person that's poking the bear with a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like that entire timeline. Imagine all of those things happening in succession. Like, I don't know how long the time frame was, but like, even if it's 48 hours, right? All those things happening at one time. And then, again, like this is just me speaking from a point of like, a point of view like maybe Punk would have, right? Because I don't have a dog in the fight, and I don't know Jack Perry. Like, I've never met him. I'm just a guy who watches, right? But you're sitting in the back after all the shit that just happened inside of London, and all of a sudden you got some kid on TV going, "Cry me a river, real glass." I mean, I'd be pretty pissed too. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'd be pretty fucking pissed about that. I'd be really upset. But there's there's so many variables in this, right? And like, I know we talked about this, last year, it feels like around the same time with the brawl out, right? Like it's, I don't think there's any winners here. I don't think anybody here doesn't have blood on their hands in this situation, right? Like, everybody did something wrong here, right?
Right.
But I think you can objectively look at it, like you said, like, you can only poke the bear so many times before the bear is going to attack you. And it, and it could be verbally, it could be physically, whatever it is. But like, I don't know. And to your point too about the league, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go for it. No, go, please.
When I think about it from because like, I have a shoot job, I work in corporate, and from an HR perspective, when any situation like that happens and someone's terminated from their job, whether with a contract or without, if they say words and phrases like with cause, and I noticed, I picked up on a couple of people have said this, like Brian Last and a couple of other folks that I've tuned into that have said this. He keeps repeating the phrase, "I was afraid for my life, and I've never been afraid for my life," and just cause and all these things, right? And I'm not making any judgment about what Tony was in, because I don't know, I wasn't there, I don't know what happened. But
Tony's not about life,
right? And I'm not either. Like, I've never been at Gorilla for a wrestling show. I wouldn't know what to do in a situation like that. But there's a reason why he's repeating those things in public, and I think it's because, and speculation, of course, but I think there's a lawsuit coming. I would be shocked to find out that Punk isn't going to sue AEW for this, and go through the discovery processes and all the stuff that happened with the brawl out. Like, I'm sure everything that happened is going to come out in the discovery phase of that lawsuit. And there's going to be even more layers to this.
Supposedly, there's Wembley security cam footage of the whole incident.
Yeah, like closed circuit photo or closed circuit video. But in British law, if you want to get this footage, you can get it and release it. Like, there's no law against it like there is here in America. But it's just such a mess, man. It's a shame too, because I feel like there was such an opportunity to do something great here with Punk and the Elite, and for a multitude of reasons, which, I mean, based on all accounts, every available metric right now that we have, it didn't seem like it was a Punk thing. There was an
here's the thing. Punk's gone, right? So who's going to be the bad guy next?
Right. That's what I mean. Like, how many times, like, who's going to be the villain now?
Right.
Who's going to be the person that you guys can scapegoat for whatever it is, or whatever it is you need to do, right? And it's like, they had such an opportunity here, and I feel like it was just a fumble. And it's frustrating because I want, we've talked about this before ad nauseum. Like, we want AEW to succeed. Like, competition is great. Competition is fantastic in the wrestling world. And it's disappointing. It's disappointing to see that it fell apart this way. But I can't remember if it was Brian Solomon or if it was somebody else on Twitter who said, because I'm never calling it X, guys. I'm just letting you know right now. It's never going to be X. It's always going to be Twitter. They said, if they're Hunter, I'm dialing the phone so fast that fucking cell phone's going to catch on fire.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they've asked Finn Balor. I sent you a tweet earlier about what Finn Balor said. There's history there with Seth Rollins. Apparently, according to a bunch of the media's sites, there was conversation about bringing CM Punk back this year at WrestleMania to fight Kevin Owens. I think at the end of the day, like you mentioned, professionals will work with professionals regardless of the circumstances. If it makes money, they're going to do it. And Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels are a classic example of that. They hated each other's fucking guts, but they knew that they could make money. So, okay, we don't have to like each other, but let's make money.
That's all it is. You only have to, dude, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
They've been touring since the 60s. Yet somehow, Mick and Keith don't see each other till they reach the stage and play.
Yeah.
And that's how they get together. You don't have to be with the person you're about to work with all day, every day. It's an hour, 2 hours a day.
At the most.
And you get paid to do it.
And imagine the fucking storyline you could tell, the story and you could weave that in with pipe bomb stuff. I mean, it literally I would watch that. I would watch that because it's interesting. It's fascinating. And now it'll, again, that will be undone. But I would, and again, too, this kind of goes into the second part of the big news that we heard. This week was
real quick before you go into that. Personally, you want to hear the kicker from me?
Yeah, of course.
Personally, when the first brawl out media scrum happened, the initial one that kicked it all off, I was in London for the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert.
Yes.
And Twitter's going apeshit. Oh man, that media scrum. I'm like, what the fuck? A year to the fucking date, the second Punk issue happened in Wembley. So to me, for me, it's kind of odd that I'm not saying it, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's weird that the first one happened when I was in London to go to Wembley, and the second one happened in Wembley. For me, it just kind of tickled me. I was like, holy shit,
It's I mean, it's such a shame, man, and I think that especially now the news that's happening is that the WWE UFC merger is supposed to be closing. You're listening to this on the 11th. Tomorrow, this is supposed to be the trade and the close of the merger and acquisition of
this
WWE.
Is news following, but yeah.
Oh yeah, so apparently, according to I think it was Sports Illustrated and a couple of other outlets are reporting that it's supposed to close on September 12th. Punk still has great relationships with Endeavor and UFC. That door is open for him.
Yeah.
And I think that if they're going to try to make a splash and they're going to try to show something big, I would be interested, like you said, I would be interested to see his contract, to see exactly what that means if he was fired for cause. If he was terminated without any terms or anything else for cause, I would imagine that would void any kind of non-compete clause or something in that. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I would imagine there's something. Right. There's something. If you're fired for cause, I feel like a lot of that stuff is out the window.
For the Cornette podcast, get Stephen P. New on the line.
I was just going to say that. I'd love to talk to somebody with contract law. Actually, shout out to Matt Bradley from Cohen and Maricini in Philadelphia. He's a guy who helps me out at work. Big wrestling fan as well. I should have probably asked him, and he may know the answer to that. But he's. But again, it's you don't know. But I feel. Are you nervous about the TKO merger coming up? As far as from, maybe not just from a content perspective, because I feel like we're about to hit a whole new window and a whole new stratosphere for this stuff. But I always get concerned from a corporate perspective with people who work inside of these industries. Do you think there's going to be any issues like that? Do you think it's going to be a smooth blend? What do you foresee happening?
I think it should be okay. They're keeping the right people on board. Triple H will still be on board, and to some extent, I think Vince is still on board. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you brought up the Punk's relationship with UFC. He still has a good relationship with those folks, and if you go back and watch the STARRCAST they did, the second STARRCAST they did from Chicago, they had the CM Punk panel. And when Mike Johnson brought up the fact that, wrestlers get time off now, the look on Punk's face of shock was like, really?
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. He wanted time off. So, again, if people, I don't know what his relationship with Triple H is, but it's all about business, He can get to work with some guys that, I'm not sure if he's worked with, but there's so many dream matches there. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and I think they could probably do some great business. And as the wrestling fan of me would love to see it, So we shall see. Like that's the interesting part. Termination with cause. Does that make him available to go anywhere he wants right now? Who knows?
It would depend on the contract, I would imagine. But
and
if
I'm CM Punk, I'm going to Chicago and showing how much of a noble employee I am. Because if I'm about to sue the company I just left and I go to WWE and there's no issues, there you go.
And again, too, like everybody's been saying it, and I want to see it because Heyman's involved.
Of course.
Right? Imagine the promo battle with the tribal chief and the best in the world. Like that is you're printing money. Like here, take every cent dollar out of my wallet. Take my wallet. Just take it because I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, I can get a new one.
Yeah, I'll buy another one. It's fine. When I make extra money after spending all my money here. No, I mean it would be crazy not to do that. But I guess we'll have to we'll wait it out and see what happens. Again, there's going to be a lot of legal stuff that comes through with this, and maybe potentially waiting games. I would imagine if there is a non-compete clause, they probably aim closer to the Royal Rumble. I also think if the plan would be to eventually, which is what it seems like is happening now with the Jey Uso stuff, is that they're going to Cody Roman 2, the Rocky 2 story in Philadelphia. I would love to see a Punk Cody feud after he wins the belt. That would be mad. I mean, that you're again like you said, there are so many new opportunities, even if it's a 2-year deal, right? Like if it's a small deal, there's so much you can pack into those 2 years. Granted that he doesn't get hurt, but like if you're doing it right, there's a lot of story and a lot of ground to tell. And I think that striking while the iron's hot is the way to go. But Meanie, I do. Speaking of striking while the iron is hot, and I haven't farted loud enough for you to hear me yet today, Meanie, I do. I listened back to that and I laughed so hard. I do have a question for you, sir. Meanie.
What?
Attention, sir, and fantasy football fanatics. As the draft season approaches, don't neglect the most important draft pick of all, your game balls. We all know how injuries can ruin a season, so let Manscaped take care of that Reggie Bush of yours with their skin-safe technology. They should guarantee you have a smooth ride into the playoffs. The leaders in the below-the-waist grooming have created a championship lineup with a Performance Package 4.0, and it's time for you to do the same. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to manscaped.com right now for 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code MIND. Meanie and Meanie, I understand that being in wrestling sometimes you take a shot below the belt there, and even too while you're trimming, sometimes you can hurt Little John on the East Side boys. How has Manscaped helped your confidence down there while shaving?
Well, I love the Performance Package 4.0 and the lawnmower trimmer 4.0, the 4.0 trimmer. But I'm a big fan of the Weed Whacker because it's fantasy football season, which leads to real football. And when I go tailgate at an Eagles game, I want to make sure my nose and ear hairs are nice and trimmed because I don't want to look like I'm holding a pair of pom-poms like I'm a cheerleader or something. So Manscaped's got me looking great this football season.
They got us both cleaned up, and you also want to make sure that your other tailgate looks good by using their Performance Package 4.0, because inside of there, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, Meanie, and a travel bag to carry all that stuff with you. Nice. It's amazing, right? Slotted at quarterback, we have the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. The Spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your balls, your body, and even your A-gap. This 4th-generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology with their 7,000 RPM motor and a multifunction on and off switch that you can engage in a travel lock because, God forbid, you put that thing in your bag. Vibrating stuff going on. TSA is going to have a lot of questions for you. And also, Meanie, it's even waterproof. Performance Package. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's amazing. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker, the Ultimate Flex. Watch it run through ear and nose hairs like Jalen Carter runs through your favorite quarterback. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. The nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in all those sensitive holes. And don't forget, at the end of everything, once everything is all cleaned up, you can use the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and their Crop Reviver to help your little bench warmers be on their A game while feeling the sun's heat. They also threw in, like we said, the boxers and the Shed travel bag. So, Meanie, guess what, sir? Who
What's that, man?
Who is the commissioner now? Definitely not. It's definitely not the other guy. It's Manscaped right now. So go to Manscaped right now, manscaped.com, and get 20% off plus free shipping by using the promo code MINDMeanie. That's right, 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code MINDMeanie at manscaped.com. It's time to put the PP back in PPR and get a grip on your pigskin this season with Manscaped. And as always, we thank them for sponsoring the program.
Go birds and go balls. Yes.
Are you ready to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask me anything. Ask me something.
Yeah, cause
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them asked on the show, sir.
I think little Jimmy has one there in the chat room.
I was
there.
just going to start here. Little Jimmy Sorensen Worldwide, a.k.a. hashtag Sorensen Level, wants to know any brand of beer. So as a note, little Jimmy will be on this side of the country in New Jersey this weekend. Any brand of beer I need to pick up, your recommendations.
If you're going through Philly, I would pick up Youngling's a good brand, but also there's a brand made literally right here in South Philly called Yards.
Yes.
Which is really good.
Yeah,
Yards, their brewery's like 2 miles from my house.
It's 5th and Spring Garden. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cause. But
cause.
If you want to get a good local beer, get a Yards. That's a good Philly beer. Yingling's all right. I used to drink Yingling all the time, but I don't know what it was. I just got tired of it. I don't know.
If you stop anywhere and get Yards, I don't know. If you're in town, if you're in Philly, it should be open this weekend. I'm checking the hours right now. The brewery should be open. Saturday it opens at 11:30 a.m. So I think you can get some stuff there. Yards Brawler is my favorite selection from that brewery. It's just fantastic. They also have a really cool, it's a different type of beer. It's called Poor Richard's Spruce Ale, and they actually use spruce flavoring inside the beer. Like they use actual spruce. It sounds crazy, and you're like, this probably isn't going to be good. And then you drink it, you're like, wow, this is really fucking good. So you can get a nice sampler from Yards while you're over there, but have a brawler for me, sir.
Sampler's the best route.
Yeah. Good stuff over there. That would be, and I'm glad you said that because I feel like that's always my beer of choice if I'm gonna drink, which is very infrequently now these days. It's a Yards, any kind of Yards. Let's see, where are we at here? So we talked about Punk already. Rocky Retired wants to know, hey Meanie, ECW had financial problems and some people did get paid.
You don't say.
Yeah, you don't say. Rumor had it Tommy Dreamer lost big dollars. Did you not get paid at any time?
My pay was all right. When I was first there, I wasn't getting that much anyway because I was new to the company. And by the time I left, I got a little bit of a bump in pay. And then when I went back, I got paid. My checks cleared. So I don't know. I mean, then again, I'm sure Tommy was getting paid way more than I was. So, and there, I always tell the story, like, there was a crew of guys, like the Jersey, New York contingent that would, load up in a car and drive to the bank. There, the bank that the checks were being drawn from and go right to the bank and say, cash them right then and there. Like,
wow.
Monday morning,
Yeah.
after they get the checks. So, and those seem to clear. So, but like I said, I'm pretty sure, Tommy was a little bit paid a decent amount more than I was. So, if whatever I was getting at the time probably cleared first because it wasn't that I wasn't taking out as many funds. So, but then again, you know what? Hey, even if it did owe me money, dude gave me a career. So, the things I learned in ECW, because I was only a bit, I could see a veteran having a problem because they've been around the block, but I was just a young kid, looking for exposure, kid. And, the knowledge I got in that locker room from him and everybody around me was invaluable. And then, but also when I went back after my WWE run, I was still getting paid by WWE for a good bit there until my contract ran out. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of double dipping.
Nothing wrong with that. I forgot, dude. You got your seltzer today? No.
Sure,
right. I have
I've been so disgusted today with between the heat and this cold. I'm just, I'm about to go take my second shower and go to bed.
I love it, man. I have one of these Aldi cheap shit Johns, the pink grapefruit, so I'll crack it for both of us. 3, 2, 1. There she is.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one this time. Pinky's up here.
Yeah.
I head to Pittsburgh in October. October 14th and 15th we'll be out there. So I'm going to try to get some cheap shit from the vending machine. Give us a little throwback to the Pittsburgh days.
I forgot to mention tomorrow. I'm going to bed early tomorrow because tomorrow we're heading to New England for the Eagles season opener versus the Patriots in Foxborough. I was able to score some tickets through a good friend, a great friend actually, and we're going to drive up tomorrow, hang out, have a little bit of dinner. And then wake up the next day and go do a little bit of tailgating. Then hopefully we're celebrating an Eagles victory on the way home.
Yep. Fuck them Patriots, but not as much as the Cowboys as we remember.
Dude.
Fuck the Cowboys forever and ever.
Yeah. The fact that the Cowboys traded for Trey Lance is just does my heart good. As if Dak Prescott didn't need any more pressure. Dak Prescott is what he is. He's been there 8 years. He ain't going to get any better. If he was going to get any better, he would have gotten better year 2, year 3.
I was going to say probably earlier in the contract, I'm sure he would have gotten better at this point. But.
All Dak Prescott is good for is fantasy points because he racks up points in garbage time with garbage time touchdowns.
Yeah.
And
can't play with a shit, dude. He sucks. He fucking sucks.
This year, not only does Jerry Jones trade for Trey Lance, who is probably going to be Dak's replacement.
Yeah.
But then Jerry Jones comes out and says that he was looking to draft Jalen Hurts 3 years ago.
Oof.
So not only your owner, the owner of your team says, oh yeah, I was going to, a couple of years ago, I was going to draft the guy who's the best quarterback in the NFC East or in football. I'll say the NFC.
But I mean, you could make a case that he's the best in football, but that,
Yeah, but your owner comes out and says he wanted him when he was available in the draft. Not only was he available then, but he goes and gets one of the top prospects from a couple years ago for a 4th round pick to breathe down your neck. So hopefully, the Eagles are like one of the least teams that has the least amount of drama.
Yeah.
In the NFC East, So I'm hoping the Eagles do good. I'm comfortable in saying that I think they'll do good.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mark and Dryden wants to know, we touched on this a little bit, but my first day with my new mouth. Mark and Dryden wants to know, the Endeavor merger, why is that so hard to say? Should be done on September 12th. What changes do you think will happen specifically on TV?
I don't know, man. I don't know those people. Endeavor's not really a wrestling company. WWE's a wrestling company. I think that's why they're keeping everybody on board. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. I forget what the exact thing was, but when Cody was coming in back to WWE and Vince flew down, I forgot who else flew down to meet with Cody.
First Pritchard.
Yeah, and he said something about, he's like, I'm not covering up my neck tattoo. He's like, we're not hiring you back because we're not going to try to ask you to do it because it's not broke.
Right. It's what we're buying.
Yeah, this is what we're buying, and we're not buying it because it's broke. It's broke. And I think the same thing with Endeavor. I think they're going to leave things as they are. Mm-hmm. Why change something that's making money? Why tinker with it? Now, again, I don't know anybody from that world of Endeavor, but why change something if it's not broken? Mm-hmm. And I think things will be the same. Hence why they're going to keep the behind the scenes people who are on board.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to change much. I hope. Again, it's like you said, it's the product seems to be better than it's ever been, at least in the past, I don't know, 20 years. It's been as good, if not better. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them keep it the same, but who knows?
The only people complaining about WWE are the same people who've been hating on WWE for the last 30 years, and their opinion will never change because then they'll have to admit they're wrong.
Yeah, they're never gonna say that they like it.
I'm not saying WWE has always been great. I'm sure there's been times when it sucked, but business is doing good now. Mm-hmm. But some people aren't allowed to admit that because their whole agenda is to hate WWE.
Yeah, that's what they're.
Or find reasons to shame them.
Yeah. RJ Krasinski wants to know, what's up, RJ? What's going on, man? You love the questions every week, brother. Here's a good one, non-wrestling related. What is a movie or a TV series you can watch over and over again and not get sick of?
Well, for me, this is me and Miss Meanie are big fans of the movie What We Do in the Shadows. Mm-hmm. To the point where we've seen it enough that we put it on to go to bed to. Because we know I need sound when I go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And we put that on just because we know there's nothing, we don't have to worry about paying attention to the storyline. We're not worried about missing plot points. It's something we know, something that we put on, and something, just conk out to. And then, by the time we fall asleep, it's over and whatever. But movie, What We Do in the Shadows. Me personally, also Anchorman. I can watch that all day, every day. TV shows. There's shows I could watch every day, but we've been watching the show What We Do in the Shadows. Reservation Dogs is good too. But something like classic that I could probably watch all the time, for me, probably be like something like Sopranos, which I don't watch every day, but like once a year I'll binge it.
Yeah.
Just binge it, And that's where we are now. It's like you binge the classics. I need to watch The Wire again.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. There's some shows I need to watch that I haven't watched, but social media ruined because they gave out all the plot points for. Mm-hmm. So there's some things I need to wait till I forget about, and you go, oh, let me watch that show. I don't need to see Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Boardwalk Empire because everybody's fucking told me about it. And fucking ruined it.
But I don't even know if I would recommend Sons of Anarchy, looking back on it 10 years,
really?
9 years removed now, from the season or the series finale. I was a big fan of the show up through season 3, I think it was. Season 3 got real weird because Henry Rollins and Adam Arkin are in season 2. So I love Henry Rollins. I think he's great in anything he does. Yeah. But then season 3 got weird, and then season 4 hit, and it started to peak back up. But then the issue I had with the show was or compare it to Breaking Bad or The Wire, right? Or even The Sopranos, right? The level of violence and gore that's in those shows is reflective of the plot points. it's not overly done, and if it is more grotesque, it's proving a point, right? Like, have you seen Breaking Bad? You've watched that, I would assume.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the scene where Gus cuts that guy's throat in the meth lab and he's like killing him in front of like, that's really graphic and really intense, and I typically don't watch that part, but I understand why they're doing that for a reason, because it's driving the plot, right?
Yeah. And it's very intense.
It's an intense part. You need to
not one word is spoken in that whole scene.
And you're just like, holy fuck, I can't believe this happened, right? And you're like, you're shook by it, right? Like I'm uncomfortable thinking about it right now. And that's the point. In Sons of Anarchy, for me, it got to the point where the gore level and the violence was just over the top for being over the top. And it was like, okay, someone's cutting their tongue off or someone's face is on fire. And you're just like, the fuck is the point here? Like, why does this have to be so graphic? I don't know. It's just like, and I'm not weird about that kind of stuff, but it's like, even for me, you get to a point like, Jesus Christ, this is too much, you know?
Yeah.
And it drug on a little bit at the end, but, I guess for me, I'm a big Community fan, which is where this sound clip came from.
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
I could watch that show back and forth, up and down, as many times as possible and never get sick of it.
Yeah.
New Girl, I'm a big fan of as well. That's a fucking hilarious show. If you've never seen it, it is hysterical. Mrs. Goober and I, we binged that through the initial stages of the pandemic, and there are very few things that make me belly laugh, like media, movies and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And New Girl made me belly laugh, like just wheezing with laughter. So, and then movies, oh God, Step Brothers is a classic. I could watch that movie all the time. And I know I've mentioned it on the show here before, but Fallen, which is a movie with Denzel Washington and John Goodman, that is...
I think that was shot in Philly.
It was, yeah. The whole movie was shot. I actually know somebody that's in that movie. There's the blonde kid who gets possessed by Azazel. His name is Tony Donnelly. Him and I went to high school together.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's also in The Sixth Sense. He's the kid that's in the 70s outfit that has the back of his head blown off. So yeah, Fallen's a great flick. But yeah, I mean, there's a handful of flicks and shows I could enjoy, but I am overdue for Breaking Bad. Nate Smythe. Sheridan Ford Sales, part of the Pod Squad's got two questions for us here, Meanie. Could Meanie tell the difference between Babe Ruth's liver and Mickey Mantle's liver? Or would he be duped like the Draconian Prince at his coronation dinner?
I would be duped.
Put on your party hats.
Yeah. Speaking of Babe Ruth, I was listening to WIP the other day, and Kyle Schwarber came up. Somebody was saying, have you ever seen Kyle Schwarber run for a pop fly? He looks like Babe Ruth running to first base. And it's just been stuck in my head for the rest of my life.
I'll have to watch it. I'll have to think about it next time I see him.
A little inside baseball. I have the Phillies game on next to me, so I saw Kyle Schwarber running, and it reminded me to bring that point up that he looks like Babe Ruth running up the first base.
Nate Smythe, Sheridan Ford Sales, also wants to know, hey, what Michael McDonald song would you use for your entrance music?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yamo be there. Yamo be there. Yamo be there. I like a 40-year-old virgin. Or like, if I hear Yamo be there one more time, I'm going to Yamo burn the store down. Yamo be there.
I think would yours be Yamo be there?
Yeah, it's a little dramatic.
That worked. I could see it working though. Could you? I think the question is, could you meanie dance to it though? Is that possible?
I don't know.
I don't want to play it here because we'll get zucked, and I don't want to do that. But
how many Michael McDonald songs can I?
That's true.
Dance to, you know.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe Sweet Freedom from the Running Scared soundtrack.
There you go. I think you could meanie dance to any Michael McDonald song. I think it can be done.
I can make it work.
I think it could happen.
I had to do the fucking meanie dance to Born in the USA one time, and it sucked.
Whoa, why?
Oh my God, this is why it turned me off to fucking wanting to do indies for a while. I started doing an indie show, working for this indie promotion, and I did because they were local. I knew people involved, and I was in a really cool tag team with Mike Keener, who was wrestling as Kid USA, and I was like, and they wanted us to use fucking Born in the USA for ring music. I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
How about Living in America by James Brown? Can we do that?
Yeah, dude.
That's a little bit, a little bit more of an upbeat.
Born in the USA is about the Vietnam War and veterans coming home and being shit on. Like, what?
Yeah, living in America is like James Brown, the guy who's known for dancing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, we'd rather have you. I was like, oh, this sucks. And eventually I just stopped taking the bookings. I was like, as much as I love Mike Keener and tagging with him and stuff like that, I was just like, I'm not having fun anymore. Yeah. It's just, and that whole other bunch of bullshit. Hey brother, can I get hey brother, can I get the brother rate, brother?
No, you can't.
No, you're already getting the fucking buddy rate because you don't have to fly me in. There's no hotel. You're right over the bridge in Jersey. Mm-hmm. How much more of a fucking break do you need?
Yeah, to quote Fat Joe, yesterday's price is not today's price, sir. I would say if I'm going to pick a Michael McDonald song, just because I think it would be hilarious, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. He covered that song. It's great. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah. If you need me, call me, no matter where you are.
I don't know if I've ever seen his lips move.
Don't worry, baby. Yeah, they really don't. I don't even know if I can say it like that. Don't worry, baby. Ain't high enough.
The fact that the Doobie Brothers were like a biker band.
This is insane, right? They're a fucking biker band.
They're a biker band, and like fucking Michael McDonald joins and
fucking hair and shit. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. I can't think of a better question to end it with right there than Michael McDonald, because I could do Michael McDonald impressions all night. Also, it's the Pop Nate, because every time we do a Michael McDonald impression, he sends me a message like, please do more of it.
That's great.
We will do them for you every week, sir, if you continue to listen. And thank you to the Pod Squad who joins us every week here. Don't forget, you can sign up right now. Go to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Sign up. Tiers as low as $10. So nice. You can join us and watch us live here every week as we record. And you get to see our beautiful smiling faces, which is always a pleasure. But Meanie, I want to thank you for answering those questions. Don't forget, like we said, tweet us your questions using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them on the program. But Meanie, where can everyone keep up with you, sir, on your social media and outside of the show?
Follow the cough.
It's loud enough.
Yeah, this week I was like, let's I was just like, hey, let's use your files because I'm leaving early tomorrow. I don't know if I'll have this uploaded. So I've been able to take advantage of the cough button on this roadcaster, which I can't do because, when you multi-track record, it records everything. Mm-hmm. But, I was able to take advantage of the cough button tonight. But if you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on Facebook, Twittergram, sort of TikTok, and Threads, at Blue Meanie on all forms of social media. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. But you can also support Mind of the Meanie. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Collar Elbow, they fucked that up. Collar Elbow, the wrestling brand. Go to collarebowbrand.com. Use coupon code Meanie or use coupon code MIND and save 10% at collarebowbrand.com. Shout out to the fine folks there over at collarebowbrand.com. Let your beard look good, feel good, and smell good. Go to madcatbeardcare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. Shout out to my boy Josh Thornton, doing an amazing job over there, taking care of the feral kitties. All the proceeds you spend at madcatbeardcare.com goes into taking care of feral cats. So if you're a cat lover like myself, go over there and get yourself some Blue Spruce. The Ultra Pro Wrestling video game coming to all major consoles in 2024. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters created by the fantastic artist Hal Haney, but many real world wrestlers, including myself and many others who I will try not to spoil. Go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on all forms of social media at UPW Video Game. Follow them again I still call it Twitter. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
At UPW Video Game. The Figure Collections Bone Crushing Wrestler Series 1 variants of the Blue Meanie are available now. All Series 1s can be ordered right now at shop.figurecollections.com. Both Blue Meanies can be ordered right now at shop.figurecollections.com. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net. That's podstars.net, podstrz.net. Register your podcast, and then you can book myself and many other great guests for podstars.net. Shout out to Jim Nilsson over at glaciersofIce.com. Jim made a 3 of 3 only handmade custom BWO Air Jordan 1 sneaker for Stevie, Nova, and myself. Each pair takes Jim about 50 hours per pair. So if you want to see these beautiful, set of sneakers made, he's made them for everybody. Go to all forms of social media at GOI Kicks. That's at GOI Kicks on all forms of social media. Cameo.com/BlueMeanieBW. I can't talk tonight. Cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO for birthdays, holidays, and well wishes. I just did a couple this week. They're a lot of fun. A couple interesting ones, but most of all, we do them to try to make somebody's day a little bit better. So go to cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO. But most importantly, Mr. Barnard, where can we find you, sir?
Me? Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and again, to be clear, it's always going to be Twitter. I'm never calling it the other name. Twitter, TikTok, which my videos are starting to take steam and take flight over there. So thank you very much if you're following me on TikTok. Threads, and then also Blue Sky, which I haven't used, to be honest with you. I looked at it and it was like kind of buggy. And I'm like, So maybe, I don't know. But you can find me there if you'd like to follow me. You can follow me at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand pal. So find me there to keep up with all the Goober events. You can also go ahead and check out my other show, Foundation Radio, by going to foundationradio.net. And you can actually listen to both shows together in the same channel if you're on Apple Podcast, because we are both a part of the Premier Podcast Network. So go and check it out there. FoundationRadio.net. Go to BrothersGaddor.com. Pick yourself up the very first licensed Adam Barnard Wrestle Buddy. There are only a handful left, and once they're sold out, they're not going to be made anymore. So go there right now. You can also pick yourself up a Blue Meanie Wrestle Buddy, and if you'd like to, which I think is the right idea, you can pick up a 2-pack. That's right, 2-pack of your favorite podcast host right now, BrothersGaddor.com. The Feinberg method, use promo code Goober and save up to 20% off on your purchase, not just physical well-being, but also mental well-being as well. My trainer, Brad Feinberg, is waiting to speak to you to assist you in your journey. So the Feinberg method.com. Shout out to the homies at the 10th Ward Barbershop in downtown Lawrenceville, right outside of Pittsburgh. Got this nice swag from them this week. You also had a chance to see Kane's fine, handy barber work on Finn Balor's head during the most recent pay-per-view at Payback in Pittsburgh. So you can go check them out right now at 10thwardbarbershop.com and schedule your appointment today. ProWrestlingTees.com/Foundation Radio, ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Pick up a shirt, support the show, and keep the lights on at Casa DeMeanie and the Barnard Home for Wayward and Troubled Youth. We want to thank you for listening today. We want to thank the Pod Squad. We also want to thank our sponsors, Manscaped and Meanie. as a surprise at the end of the show, our brand new, it's true, our brand new sponsor, Green Roads CBD. We will be rolling out our new ads next week on the program, but right now you can use code Meanie. You can use code Meanie right now at greenroads.com and get 25% off of your purchase. So use promo code Meanie at greenroads.com and enjoy listening to the show here. We appreciate you, Meanie. I appreciate you doing a show with me each and every week and getting a chance to chop it up. For the Blue Meanie, I am Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind of the Meanie. Sorry, Carl. Peace.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is produced by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Mind of the Meanie and become our patron on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
Dad, why is Blue Meanie's brain out?